Hey, everybody. How's everyone doing? All right, bear with me here. I'm just trying to get my computer set up. All righty. All right. So, this is my first live. I've heard that Facebook can be a little bit glitchy. So, I've pretty much thought of every possible scenario that could go wrong. I have a video camera looking at me here, a phone looking at me here, and over here. So, if anything happens where I lose you guys, just know that I'm going to keep talking and I have it recorded and I'll send it to you, okay? Feel free as we're talking to write in the chat. I can answer some questions as they come in or any comments that you guys have. We are talking today about the first day of the Breakthrough the Pandemic Fog challenge that I've set up. So today is all about the sweet stuff. If you don't know what we're doing here, there are some people that are in the group that I've set up that aren't a part of the challenge. And if you want to be a part of it, you can simply go to pages.balanceandbean.com/COVID and sign up there. You can join anytime this week. Everything's going to be archived, so you'll be able to see what we did today and just start from tomorrow. Or you can just DM me and just let me know you want it, and I can send you the link. But all right, can we just talk about this past year? The pandemic has been disproportionately hard on women and moms, especially. If you are feeling it, you're not alone. I have felt it. There has been a lot of stress in our bodies and just no outlet to relieve a lot of that stress. And we're going to talk a lot about the stress cycle and what we can do to break that on Wednesday. I'm super excited about that conversation. But today we have a really important conversation too, all about what we're putting into our bodies with an emphasis on sugar. I could seriously talk about food and nutrition all week long because my motto really is if you want to change the way that you feel, start with changing how you eat. It's just a huge part of how we feel in our bodies is the food that we're putting into our bodies, into our mouth. But sugar is really important, and I wanted to make sure we spent a day talking about that. But first, let's just kind of back up and talk a little bit about the pandemic this year and what that's meant for moms. I mean, a lot of moms that I talk to are just trying to juggle the mom life, their work life, daycare, teaching their children school, having to figure out how to work from home if that's not something that they're used to, figuring out how to work with their spouse or their significant other. It's been a lot. And, forget aspiring to do it all. I mean, moms just don't have the choice right now. And that sort of stress is going to manifest itself. And I think after being in this life for over a year now, a lot of us are feeling like the effects of that, like just overall brain fog, like this feeling of like inability to really make a decision fast. I mean, anybody that asks me what I want for dinner, like just something so simple on like a Friday night after a long week. I mean, I don't have the energy to even answer that. Fatigue, like you might have trouble sleeping. You might be able to sleep through the night, but you just wake up and you're just so exhausted. Does this feel like anybody? If so, just say yes in the comment section, just so we know that we're not alone. Overall, just low energy, right? Like these are all super, super common. So it's really normal. And the fact that you are here and you've kind of taken that first step is amazing. So congrats to you, because that is the most important thing, is just understanding like, hey, something's off here, and trying to find a way that you can help yourself. That's fantastic. So all right, let's kind of get into the meat of the presentation today. So like I said before, today we are talking about sugar. And on its own, sugar really isn't terrible. But what's really troublesome is the amount of sugar that we're eating in foods that we weren't even really aware of. And I think that that's what we really want to focus on today. It's definitely not like I don't want this whole week to be about anything taking away anything or adding something to like the you can't eat this list. Like, no, I'm not about that at all. What I am trying to do is just make you a little bit more aware of what you're putting into your body so you can just make smart decisions when you're at the grocery store. And so just think about sugar in general. There are three major things that I just want to touch upon. So when you're eating too much sugar, it can really cause three things. So the first is inflammation in the body. And inflammation, chronic inflammation in our bodies, is really the root cause of most disease. And so essentially, eating too much sugar all the time can lead to certain diseases, which we know, diabetes, heart disease, they're all linked to too much sugar in our diets. The second is gut dysbiosis, and that's just really like a fancy word for an imbalance in our good gut bacteria and our bad gut bacteria in our bodies, meaning that can sort of cause some hormone issues, leaky gut syndrome, and that's all linked to too much sugar as well. And the third thing is more sugar. So the more sugar we eat, the more desensitized we become to it, and the more we crave it. It's like this vicious cycle that we get into. So on day one, in the email that we sent out or that I sent out today, I asked you to take a look in your pantry for different items or in your pantry or your refrigerator, whichever you chose, but different items that you know you found in there, and you looked on the outside, the backside of it at the nutrition label to see how much added sugar was in it. So I'm curious, like, write in the comments, what did you find? Like, was there anything that surprised you? Hold on one second. I am just gonna set up these comments here. Oh, dang. I can't really see them. So maybe we won't do that. Okay. Well, what surprised me when I did it for the first time was that really was like the most basic foods that I eat almost every single day had all these grams of sugar in it, like salad dressings and hummus and salsa and tomato sauce. So I feel like that was the most surprising thing. Like as I looked in my cabinet, on a regular day, I could look back and say like, oh, I really didn't have that much sugar. I like didn't put any sugar into my foods. But then you realize that you're eating it and you don't really fully understand that you're consuming so much of it. So again, it's all about gaining that awareness and that education to just realize how much sugar is in the most basic things, so you can do the research to find different options. So I hope that was helpful for you today. I just want you to keep sort of like three things in mind as we're talking through this. And I don't want to sound cynical at all, because that's really not me. But I think it's important to mention that the first thing here is that, food manufacturers, when they're creating their food to sell to us, which is what they're doing, um, they make it to hook us on sugar. Because if we eat it, and we eat their sugar that's in the food, we're going to want more of it. So I just like to think this isn't true for all food manufacturers, of course, but they're not really out to make us healthy. They're out to help us find their products. So that might mean that some of the marketing that they're doing is not always as accurate as we would hope. So that's just something to keep in mind as you're looking at different products. Be your own best advocate when you're choosing things and you're looking at marketing and the front side of products. The second thing is natural sugars like honey and maple syrup. They don't have the same effect on your body as manufactured sugar does. So when I talk about manufactured sugar, I'm mainly talking about high fructose corn syrup, which is essentially sugar that's been created in a lab. Um, High fructose corn syrup hits our bloodstream different. It goes straight to our liver. It's not metabolized in our system the same way that sugar is. So high fructose corn syrup is cheap. Farmers have a subsidy on corn. They have subsidies on other products too, like wheat and soy, but they have a subsidy on corn, which means that they're able to make a lot of it for cheap, or for cheaper. And so they use the corn to create high fructose corn syrup, which is a sweetener, for cheap. So they can kind of like super size a lot of products. It's making our nation sick. It really is, because there's so much high fructose corn syrup in products that we don't even know, like sodas and fruit drinks and things like that, and a lot of packaged food. So that's just another thing to keep in mind too. Um, and the last thing is that as a nation, we're just eating more sugar overall than our ancestors did. So the average American now eats about 17 teaspoons of sugar a day, which, sounds okay until you start to think about how much that is per month. And that's 4.5 pounds of sugar a month, and 57 pounds of sugar a year for the average Americans. That's a lot, especially if you put this in perspective. Our ancestors, now granted, this was a long time ago and there was no, packaged food in supermarkets to go to, but they were eating as much sugar in a year that most of us, the average American, that might not be you, but the average American is eating in a day. So, it's just everywhere. So one thing I did mention in my email is that I have one thing that really helps me kind of curb my sugar cravings, because when I go through periods throughout the year where I'm eating a lot of sugar, it's mainly during times of stress, which is this past year, or like sugar holidays like Halloween or Christmas or something like that. And I wanted to touch upon the one thing that has really helped me. And in order to talk about this, I have to just get a little nerdy here, so just bear with me for a second. But this is something I was really never taught in school, and I think maybe it could be that many of you have or were, and then this might be basic to you, but I didn't really learn about this until I was in my Institute for Integrative Nutrition classes. And so what I'm trying to say is that there are 3 macronutrients that help us in our food, help us fuel our body. And those 3 macronutrients, of course, are carbohydrates, protein, and fat. But they're all different. The protein, the fats, and the carbohydrates, they're all different in the way that we metabolize them, but they're all essential for our health and for fueling our bodies. And so if you were to kind of just like close your eyes for a second, you can picture yourself sitting outside on a summer night, sitting around a fire with your friends. It's post-COVID, things are good. And you look at that fire and the big logs that are on the bottom of the fire that are burning really long and really slow, you can think of those as proteins and fats, right? So when we eat proteins and fats in our bodies, they fuel us, and the fuel burns slow. So if you eat something filled with good healthy fats or good healthy protein, it's gonna take longer for you to feel hungry again. It sustains you longer. But if you think about that kindling on the top of the fire, that is the stuff that burns really fast. It's like it blows up. It's a big spark. It's a big fire at the start, and then all of a sudden it burns really fast out. And those are I would consider that more of a carbohydrate. So something that enters our system really fast and burns out fast. So when we eat carbs, a lot of times there's a spike and then there's a bit of a drop in our blood sugar. And so that is kind of explains a little bit why when we eat sugar, which is a carb, a lot of times we can feel like we're not satisfied, like we're not feeling, hungry long. A lot of times this can be attributed to, like, if we're eating a lot of carbs in our diets or at a meal, we start to get hangry, like, that feeling at the end, after a couple hours after you've eaten, you're just like, I need food. Or I'm going to just like scream at somebody. We've all been there. So the one thing I guess I'm trying to say, and that using that analogy, is that the one thing that really helps me when I'm eating a lot of, or I'm feeling like I'm in like that sugar loop, where I'm eating a lot of sugar, is to add healthy fats and proteins to my diet. And when I talk about healthy fats, it's funny, just our diet culture has made fat to seem so terrible. It's not. Good, healthy fats are so essential and they're so good for you. So I'm talking about, fatty fish, nuts, seeds, avocados, olives, um, and healthy oils. If you add these sorts of things to your diet, a lot of times it can help you not crave those carbs, because when we're heavy on the carbs, we're going to continue to crave the carbs, right? And also adding lean protein to your meals as well. And so, and I don't want to make be talking about carbs and make you think that carbs are bad. No, carbs are not bad. There are, different types of carbs. Some carbs, like sugar, packaged foods, a donut, is going to make that spike in blood sugar super high, and then it's going to crash, right? We see this with our kids when we feed them like a cookie. You see them get super excited and then they crash. But there are slower carbs like whole grains, oatmeal, vegetables that you can eat, and they're so essential and so healthy for you. And they do have a little bit of that spike, but it's not nearly as bad as what you'd get if you ate like a sugar bomb, right? So yeah, that was my tip, is that if you're feeling like you're on this crazy sugar cycle, try, instead of like really just restricting what you're eating, try just add more fat and more protein to your diet and see if that helps. And so the last thing that I want to do is just challenge you. I know I challenged you this morning in the email, but I want to challenge you again. I want you to, tomorrow morning and then the next morning, I want you to eat two different breakfasts. And the first breakfast, I'd like you to try eating something that's really heavy in carbs. So this might be like I said before, like oatmeal or cereal or granola or something like that. Take note of how you feel after you ate it, and take note of when you get hungry after eating it and how that hunger comes on. Remember, we were talking about that hangry hunger. And then the next day, try eating a breakfast that's full of healthy fats or protein. So, for an example of this might be like two hard boiled eggs and an avocado. Again, take note of how you feel when you're eating it, and take note of how long it takes you to feel hungry again and how that hunger comes on. And I think you'll be really interested in seeing like the different effect that the foods have on our bodies. I think that that's the most important thing. Instead of getting crazy into like diet culture, it's just pay attention. Just pay attention to how foods feel when you eat them. And you can really learn a lot. Like, you in your own self have the answers. Like, you don't really need to look to other people to tell you what types of food that you need to fuel your own body. You have the answers. You just have to listen. So I'm just thrilled that we had the chance to chat today. I'm thrilled that you've joined me and you're kind of getting to know me, and I'm kind of getting to know you guys too, throughout these 5 days. So tomorrow we're going to be talking a little bit about crowding out your plate. So this is the concept of adding good stuff, not taking away. So tomorrow will be a really good chat as well, and we'll talk about different ways that we can add healthy, nourishing foods to our meals without having to like really overthink it too much. So that's really all I had tonight. I'm so sorry. The comments don't seem to be working. I'm just a newbie at this Facebook Live. I see that there are some comments that came through, but I'll just follow up afterwards if it was any questions or anything like that. And tomorrow I'm going to be a killer on these comments. I'm going to have them running properly. Okay, so thanks for being here tonight. This video is going to stay on the page, and everything's going to be archived. Everybody that's a part of the 5-day challenge will be getting the video to their email too. So Again, if you want to join, if you're watching this and you want to join, go to pages.balanceandbean.com/COVID and join up, sign up for the week. And yeah, you can join the group. There's a great group of people that have already signed in. So I will talk to you guys then.